All right. Welcome back. This is the third lesson within the TradingView module. And we're going to start looking at a few customizations, a few things that you can do in and around your TradingView chart in terms of customizing them. All right. One of the things we're going to do not right now is actually getting to the watch list. So for the moment, I'm going to collapse this just to make it disappear. Bear in mind that if you do move your mouse over to this gray vertical line, you can click and drag and make that bigger. If you make it too small, it disappears, but don't stress, don't fret. You can literally toggle it on and toggle it off there. We're going to keep it off for now. Now, going forward, I will be using the light theme of TradingView just to demonstrate. I personally use what we call the dark theme. I use that for everything else because I spent so much time in front of the charts. But a very simple way to change it from a white background or a light theme to a dark theme is by clicking on that is your profile on the top left-hand side. And if you click on this, you're going to see not only your TradingView username, something else that we'll get into a little later in terms of that, but very simply, you can change it from a light theme to a dark theme. Again, this is going to be your own personal preference. Again, I mentioned I prefer using this, but a lot of people find this a little bit more clear to see. So that's quite simple to start with. All right, so go ahead and change whatever you would like to change in and around there. Now, on the left-hand side is what we call the drawing pane or drawings panel. And again, if you don't have it there or you do have it there and you can't find it, come into that little menu on that top left-hand side, and you can toggle that on. Now, this menu, we will be going through in much detail a little later on in terms of the various settings or tools and stuff that you can use within this. So you'll see that there is a little mini right arrow there. And what happens is it drops out a bunch of menu options within the cursor or the pointers section of this drawing tool. These are all to do with lines and trend lines. We'll be getting into all of these at some point. There's text tools, drawing tools, various algorithmic and technical analysis tools, and some of those. You can even add emojis and emoticons to your charts. There's a ruler tool, very, very useful, and a few others as well. If you do have drawings on your chart, you can hide them. But again, we'll get into some of these a little later. On the top here, you have a bunch of options. Now, this is one of a few ways in which you can find a stock, a derivative, an indices, a crypto coin or token, etc. It's just the normal toolbar, and it's a search toolbar. This one we do not use very often. It is much like this, but again, we don't compare too often. But again, that's in much more advanced trading analysis. We might cover that in the future, but for the moment, you can ignore that. This we are going to spend some time on. It won't be in this module, it'll be one of the following modules around how to add different time frames. You might have seen the reference to TF or time frames. We'll look at that. We'll also compare what the difference is in terms of this. This is a shortcut to a menu for different kinds of candles, which we'll get into, definitely getting into different indicators at one point. This we don't use too often at all, so don't stress. Alerts we will cover, but we utilize this alert tab over here. And depending on what kind of alerts, which we'll get into, we'll probably be using this side and actually setting alerts on the different candles or indicators going forward. This is a fairly useful replay function if you wanted to see how candles played out over some time, again, depending on which time frame you're using. And then this, ladies and gents, if you do make changes or you do add indicators or lines and you want to go back, you can undo whatever you like. Here, for instance, if I wanted to undo the chart theme change, which was a dark theme to light theme, I could do that there very easily. If I undid it, the option to redo would be there as well. Then in terms of further navigation, this is a great function for paid versions of TradingView. Now, at the moment, this is a free account. It's otherwise known as a basic account. I do have a paid for account version. What's really handy with this is that you can actually have what we call split panes or split screens, where you can either compare the same token or stock on two different time frames or two different charts, or even three up to four, depending on which version of TradingView you do have. Okay, so we'll get into that a little later. Now, this is the stock standard name for this chart layout. When you first log into TradingView, when you first use it, it will always be called unnamed, and there is a little drop-down arrow right there next to it. And in terms of a few things you can do and a few things you can't do. Now, because of this being a free or basic account, we cannot create extra chart layouts, or you wouldn't be able to open up other chart layouts. That only comes with the paid versions. And again, there are some advantages to using it if you want to compare time frames or Bitcoin and Solana on the same time frame and a few things like that. What you could potentially do is rename it. So it's called renamed. And this is I'm going to rename this to training. Why not? You can even add an emoji if you like, whatever you want to, and you can click save. Now, again, if you have a paid version of TradingView and you wanted to oscillate between different kinds of chart, maybe one would be one kind of trading strategy with certain indicators, one would be a different trading strategy with other indicators. If you wanted to keep your crypto analysis charts separate to your stock or derivatives, or et cetera, then having or other layouts would be advantageous. With the paid version that I have up to 5 different layouts. I only use 2 or 3 depending on the need. But again, all right. So go ahead, rename it. If, for instance, at some point you've got some great TA and great lines and you want to export that, you could do that as well. Don't stress. Again, on this side, you can always do a quick search around any things, indicators, settings, whatever it might be. And then this is the one we're going to be spending time on in the next module. This is if you wanted to get out of any sort of other things like watch lists, etc. And what you should be able to do then is just press escape, and that'll bring it back to normal view. This is also really handy if you wanted to, and I'll drop down here, is if, for instance, you had a chart and you wanted to share it with the Hineycoin community, maybe in a space, you wanted to post it on socials, there are a few options. You can either download that image to your computer, you can copy the image, and again, this would be this chart screen with your chart name, the stock or the crypto token's name, everything that you pretty much see on the chart. If you wanted someone to come and have a look at your chart via TradingView, they would need to then just click on that link that you would copy, and you can use that instead. If you wanted, again, open a new tab. And again, if you wanted to put this on X, you can still use the word tweet. If you wanted to tweet this directly to X, you would link your account to it and be able to do it there as well. And again, if you had any sort of new data or anything else that you wanted to put into your own TradingView account in terms of charts, you could publish that out as well. Now, just on the right-hand side, we have touched on the watch list side of things. If you click on this is one of the other tabs we will be exploring in the future around alerts. Click on that. At the moment, I have no alerts set. I've got no alerts that have been triggered. That would be under the log. And then over here are a couple of other advanced things. Don't stress about this too much. Don't dabble too much around this. You'll see it's kind of like Photoshop where you get different layers and you can move things around, but you can often lose things. So don't dabble in that too much. And then this would be any chats that you might have within TradingView, people following you, that kind of thing. Now, again, the rest of these, we don't really utilize too much. These might be some of the economic events and the calendars that do pop up. These are various products within TradingView. And again, you can have a look at all of this, but really we don't worry about it too much. As mentioned, this is the bottom where it's the timeline. That's along the x-axis. Now, again, at the moment, you'll see here, this is currently UTC time. So that's Universal Time Coordinated or Universal Coordinated Time, which is generally about GMT time. UTC time doesn't change. GMT GMT time does change generally depending on daylight savings, along with obviously, EST, depending on where in the world you are. So we're going to look at also making sure that you set it according to your own personal time zone, because these UTC times, the differences, like in South Africa, it is always UTC +2. So if it's that time there now, it's actually now 12:50 in the afternoon. So just bear that in mind. All right. We will look at that in the following settings as well as these as well. If you're into coding of scripts and indicator scripts, you would use something called their Pine editor, and then a trading panel. That is if you're going to be trading through TradingView itself, which we do not recommend, purely because depending on the nature of your trading and also how hyped up you are on security of your account, especially if you're going to be linking to a broker or to an exchange like Coinbase or Binance or whatever it is that you may have access to. From a security perspective, it's always better to trade actually on the exchange, which has better protection than TradingView does. So yeah, we will get into that at a future point. So we've covered a little bit of the navigation around what the different things are within TradingView, all the general layouts. And in the following module, we're going to be getting into some of the more personal chart settings and other settings around the things like this that you see here. So yeah, join us for that very next session.